Hello, my people. It's good time. It's good again to come your way today. I am your village boy, reaching out to you from the Village Boy Academy. Today, we want to talk about an important issue that most small business owners overlook. I've been there before. I've been a culprit of some of the issues, and I've also learned from some of those issues I want to discuss. So today I want to discuss about employees' roles in business success. Do we think that employees play any important role in making our bottom line good or better? Or do we just see them as the necessary evil? No. And because the way you see them, the way you perceive them, also may influence how you treat them. And the truth is that, like I said the other time, from the basic economics, labor is one of the cardinal factors of production. So, and labor is supplied, yes, mainly by the employees, then sometimes with the business owner himself or herself. But employees play very significant role that we cannot overlook. Before I go deep into discussing today, I want to share my own failures and my own success, or my moderate success in managing employees. Of course, I've written earlier on, those who follow me on the Guardian newspaper or the Premium Times, I've written about the essential, the importance of managing our human resources, even beyond the salary negotiation. Now, when I say that I've succeeded a bit from my experience and I've also failed in some areas, let me share some of my experience to you before I go deep into the discussion. First, let me talk about my failures. One of the things that I realized that I failed was this principle, the philosophy of my work. Actually, it started also when I work with as a manager with subordinates. I have this no excuse philosophy. I want results. I don't want an excuse. In fact, today there are some of my subordinates who still call me no story Baba. I mean, the man that does not want to hear story. So here is the reason why I call it a failure. I later found out that some employees, when they have challenges in the assignment given to them, they are afraid, literally speaking, to come back to explain. So they struggle because I've told them, don't come to me with excuses. Come to me with results. So after the results, and I'm happy, of course, you can tell me the story. As many of you will know, I love gist. So, and there was this incident I remember that I gave an assignment, and over time, I'm also very observant anyway. So I found out that the guy was struggling with the assignment, and I called him. I said, "Why didn't you come back to tell me that you had challenges?" He said, "What, sir? You said you don't want to listen to excuses." So I say, "What about that?" He said, "But in this instance, I have genuine excuses." I said, "Okay. So since you knew your excuses were genuine, why didn't you come back to me?" He said, "Because you say you are not interested in excuses, you want results." And I was stuck, so I didn't know what to do. So I just kept to myself. Maybe wait till the time you will call me. So I learned that big lesson. So I said, okay, I have to modify my philosophy of working with people. If you are a leader or even a boss, you must be ready to listen to excuses, genuine or counterfeit. Of course, you may be able to discern which one should be addressed and which one should not be addressed. So in that area, I was failing until I came to that realization. It's very good to pay attention to something like that. The second area of which I will consider, failure in managing employee. Actually, there was a time I received a revelation. Yes, you heard that right, a revelation that I should be mindful of the psychology of my workers. And what do I mean? Sometimes human beings will go through stuff. We have our challenges. Yes, I try to be observant, but I had to do a kind of inner check. What does this mean? Then I discovered my error. My error was that I believe in open rebuke, which the scripture says open rebuke is better than secret love. So when there's issue, we have a meeting, I literally call out to everybody. Some adjusted through that means, some did not like it, and I discovered that when that happened, there was a particular case study of a staff. We lose his contribution for almost a week because he will not just perform. Then when that revelation came, I said, okay, this is the thing. And there are two dangers here. There are two dangers here that I discovered. One, the guy you rebuke or you complain about, feel bad, feel unwanted, feel inferior to others. And the guy you praise, of course, can have bloated ego. And you create unnecessary dichotomy, unnecessary enemy among the workforce. So I have to also work on that. Then the third one, failure I realized was the idea of, because I don't want to postpone issues, I always address issues head on. When you do wrong, I address it. I will admit I was a bit impatient. But thank God to my son, the professor, these days will tell me, Dad, let it slide. Let it slide for now. And I've learned a great deal from him. That is slang. So each time I want to react too quickly or overreact, when I remember his words, let it slide. So I pause. So because of that, I discovered that I've addressed so many issues wrongly in the past. And that has also lowered the morale of those who work with me. Yes, my philosophy again is that my workers, I tell them, or I told them then, you are not working for me, you are working with me. And that makes a huge difference. So what are the areas that I've had some moderate success? One, I don't joke with staff salary. I do not joke with it. From my background, I have this where I worked, where we pay salary on the 25th of every month. I try to carry that principle to where I work, to my own firm, when I established my own firm. So I had to create a reserve, because when you are in service industry, you will know it's not every time that the check's rolling. Even when you have the jobs, you have delivered some jobs, or there's some job you have not delivered, the cash flow can be very challenging. There was a time we had to deposit our share certificate as collateral for revolving overdraft, so that principle of paying on the 25th was maintained. So I think I did that fairly well. Then another thing I want to recall is that I also cater to the welfare of my staff as much as I could. I may not elaborate so much on that. So then one thing that also happened when this contributory pension scheme, when it came out, we had to had a series of meetings, because many staff were resisting it. Why? Because we asked them to contribute 5% of their salary, and the company will pay 7.5%, as was then the rule. Some said, they didn't want to do it. Some said, okay, the salary is not even enough, so they can't contribute 5%, but they will not mind the 7.5% by the company. And I told them, no, it's not going to work that way. So that you are in or you are out. So at the point, I have to tell them, okay, anybody that is what we are working together must register for the contributory pension scheme, because it's about the future. and give them the option. If you want to work in the company, you have to be part of it. If you don't want to work, give us 1 month notice and go look for work elsewhere. Good enough, we reached agreement and everybody contributed. As we speak now, their contribution would have doubled. I mean, the current net assets in the pension scheme would have doubled, meaning that they have gained 100% from their contribution, because it's over 10 years. And that means that of that 100% gain, so their own contribution is just 40%, and the company contributed 60%. Or the value they are getting today, their contribution from the salary, the sacrifice they made, is just about 20%. So the company 30%, and the profit, the gain 50%. If you are mindful of the calculation. So I think I did that well. They resisted it, but we were able to reach a compromise. I had to even, as a trainer, I had to organize a training for them. I had to spend 2 hours explaining, the benefits of contributory pension scheme. Of course, another thing I know I do well, I teach very well. I had the grace to teach, and I also like, making my charity begin from home. So anybody who has worked with me, either work together in a company or work in my company, will testify to it that I take time to train, to teach. I love it. I love teaching. It flows in my blood. So those are the few ones that I think I did well, fairly well. And then my failures, I'm beginning to learn from them. So what do you do to ensure that your employees contribute maximally to your business successes? One, you be concerned about their welfare. Their welfare is not only about salaries, though in some client salaries seems to be the number one. Everybody wants money. Yeah, they will tell you they are working because they need money. So their remuneration is good. Then you also have to respect them. You have to have, there must be a mutual respect between the business owner and the employees. Yes, you may be older than them. Some may be as young as your own children. Some may be, young as your own grandchildren. But then you have to, observe the dignity of their persons. You respect them. So when you do, they're able to put in their maximum. And of course, you have to appreciate them when they do excellently well. You should learn to appreciate. Every appreciation is not about money. Good words. Like I said, I like open appreciation and open rebuke. But I think the open rebuke of it was, had negative consequences that I did not actually took care of when I was in that situation. And of course, train them very well. I want to also share one experience. There was a time I was asking my manager, I said, look, why didn't you do this? She looked straight into my eyes and said, okay, how am I supposed to know? So what? What do you mean you don't know? How are you supposed to know? Say, sir, with due respect, you think that your over 20-year experience will be compared to my 2 years experience? You want me to know what I've known for over 20 years in 2 years? How about that? I said, okay, I'm sorry. I over-assumed that. So, train them. So, I know many of us, in our culture, we grew up being punished for what we did not do right, even when nobody has told us how to do it. So, and we carry that one when we run our business. It is not fair to the innocent people. If you have not trained them, you may not necessarily be able to blame them. So, but our people do that. So, you don't know me, you don't know what to do. You don't know the right thing to do. How will he know? How will she know? My manager told me. How am I supposed to know? So, that's why I did a lot of training, a lot of teaching. There are things sometimes, you can't cover everything one day. So then rewards them. Rewards your employee. Rewards your employee very well. reward is not only in salary. Yes, it's part of it. Sometimes, especially let me use an example of service industry. Sometimes you may have a windfall. The money just keep rolling. Though for me, in such situations, I try to avoid the temptation of increasing salaries when the money are rolling in. First, when money rolling in, especially if you are in the service industry, please listen carefully to me. When the money comes in, like, oh, they just opened the bullion van to you, pause. Make reserve of your current salary for about a year or minimum of 6 months. Keep that reserve. After you have done that, do whatever you needed to do for the office to make the business progress further, kind of reinvesting. After you have done that, if you still have a lot left, then you can decide to give them bonus. Give your staff bonus. Give them bulk money that they can do something specifically with. I prefer that approach than just increasing salary. You can increase salary, but what happens after the next 6 months? You are not able to meet the new salary. And it takes about 1 month when you implement new salary for the state to adjust, the taste to adjust. If the taste of your employees have adjusted and they praise you, they like you, they call you a good employer, if 6 months along the line, the checks start flowing in like before, and you start owing them, will they be happy with you? I bet you they will not be happy with you. So the way to balance it is to know that every day is not Christmas. Make provision for them, make a reserve, and it's not you also as the owner of the business you spend recklessly. No, don't do that. When you have made your reserve and you still have some other thing, then give them bonus according to their salary. Equity, not equality here. So they can do something. Some can do whatever they want to do with it. Don't dictate to them, but if you can advise them, for instance, if it's a chunk of money, you can advise them, oh, go get a plot of land. Go do this, go do that. You can advise them, but don't impose it on them. So that's one way of rewarding. And of course, taking care of people, their medical, their this thing. Even our culture, when you ask about their family and other things, they are part of it. Every time they have something, show up. Show them support. Show them love. That is psychology of managing them. Yeah, somebody will say, okay, are the employees good? Would they reward? Would they reciprocate a good gesture? You cannot always guarantee that. Nobody can, because we are dealing with human beings. We are subject to so many issues, so many moods, so many things that affect our moods. So you may have employees that are lazy. You can have employees that are wasteful. You can have employees that out of greed, they will steal. Or again, when they have this idea of that workshop mentality, it's where we work that we eat. Terrible mentality. Yes, we have some of them. But if you identify them individually, you can also manage them. And of course, you have employees who will not be loyal, no matter what you do to them. But then, at that point, you have to deal with them individually. Of course, you have the grace, the ability to disengage. One of the things I used to tell people as consultants, don't hire them if you cannot fire them. Sorry, it may sound very harsh, but that's the reality. Because if an employee gets to a point that rather than becoming an asset, it becomes a liability, there are times you may have to let go. Even sometimes the best employee may be let go if you begin to have negative impact on the entire workforce. So when you have done your best, of course there are benefits for taking good care of your employee. One of the benefits is loyalty. Yes, it's not always guaranteed. Especially now that people seems to, be more concerned about money, about salary. Somebody can be offered, a salary higher than what you are paying, and there we go. And I've seen instances where somebody was attracted with a higher salary, only to get to the new company after 3 or 4 months. He discovered that they don't pay regularly. Then they started owing him salary, and he wanted to come back, wanted to go back to where I was coming from. Oh, yes, this guy was not paying too much, fantastic salary, but they don't owe us, so you can plan with your money. So sometimes it's all that glitter is not good. But if an employee wants to go because he has a better offer, don't stop the employee from going. So you cannot do other that. You can't hold them down. If they want to go, let them go. So at the time I told myself that, okay, especially when I was running a consulting and audit firm, and I said, look, my office is a training ground. People come to be trained and find their levels. So I don't care when you want to leave. And of course, we say customer is the king in business. When you treat your employees well, then you can achieve good customer relations. Actually, they are your eyes. When you treat them badly, they in turn treat your customer badly. And when you treat your customer badly, what do? You lose money. You lose patronage. So it becomes penny wise, pounds foolish. So let your charity begins at home. Take care of your employees. Train them. Be concerned about their welfare. Pay them regularly. Pay them well. Then don't promise what you cannot pay. I always advise, be consistent. Based on your level of operations, pay what is convenient, what you know that you will not default. And if there is improvement, let that improvement also reflect across board. Either by increasing the salary or by paying bonus at the end of a period. Like I said, I favor the bonus regime more because it is more realistic to me, because we are just sharing out of the something. It also depends on your nature of job. For instance, where we do a lot of training in the organization when I was in Nigeria. So when we have a training outside, if any of the employees present paper and have outside the house, usually we usually mix it with the friends or colleagues from outside who present paper. Anyone that present paper gets a fee for the paper presented. When I present paper in my own firm, I collect my facilitation money. It is standard. If I present 2 papers, I collect money for 2 papers. If my manager presents 3 papers, she collects money for 3 papers. Yes, I do the review of all the papers that we are going to present. And of course, for the other employees who may not present papers, but who will also participate in the training program, we also have what we call administrative allowance, which we share among staff who will not present. Those who help with the printing, with the binding of the materials, with the packing of the bags and all that. So the driver will take us to the venue and everything. So we give them administrative allowances. This is outside their salaries. It is when we have done this, because we charge all this one as direct cost of executing that training program. We treat it also as cost of sales. Simple. And you should do that. You can maintain such a standard. So again, always when you get feedback because your employees are happy, it helps you to improve. Actually, you should have a policy of asking for feedback. Sometimes I call my employees one-on-one in good times and say, okay, tell me your challenges, tell me this. Or they come to me, especially when I learn that the policy of no excuses was not achieving results. I had to adjust a bit. So from their feedback, you you are able to improve yourself further. So when the manager told me how am I supposed to know, that was a feedback. And I had to work on that so that I know, okay, when I'm giving an assignment, I explain, and I actually went a step further. When I've explained the assignment to any employee, I ask the employee to tell me what he or she understands by my explanation. And through that, if there is a misgiven or a miscommunication with the two of us, we are able to sort it out before he or she goes out to carry out the assignment. So communication is very important. And that through feedback it's part of teaching, it's part of training them. So of course, your employee may not know as much as you do. You have to understand that, difference is that gap. And the only way you can bridge the gap is to teach them, is to train them. So, and of course, when you treat your employee very well, there is every likelihood that your profitability will increase. Because they will treat your customer well, they will bring good suggestion that can improve the processes, that can improve your earnings. And of course, continuous profitability will often lead to sustainability. You'll be able to achieve some measure of going concern. You need to continue to run your business. So, if you think because some employees they don't show concern, some employees are wasteful, some employees are lazy, some employees are disloyal, and you now say, okay, you want to be harsh, or you don't want to, do what you are supposed to do, you may end up having a high rate of turnover of employees. People will just keep coming and going. Like I said the other time, there's a learning curve. When you bring in new employees, it takes time for that employee to settle. Of course, there is even the cost of recruitment. Either you are recruiting through a consultant or you are recruiting by yourself, because the time you spend, recruiting new staff, the time you spend in training that staff, there are cost elements to this. So, and the more, when you have higher retainership, of course, sustainability of the business is more guaranteed. And of course, you can delegate some task to the staff, to your employees. So, I want us to understand that actually employees play central roles in the successes of our businesses. And we should be mindful, and we should take care of them. We should work with them. We need them. It's not just we want them. Because if you can do it by yourself, you will not engage anybody. And of course, there is a limit to which you can do as an individual. So the more the merrier. So treat them as human beings. Yes, they will have their failures, they will have their errors. Correct them, guide them, provide guidance to them. And of course, there should be reprimanding. There are some attitudes that also should not be tolerated. For instance, I don't tolerate lateness to work. You must have a very genuine reason to come late to work. And it must not be too frequent. It must not be something that is habitual. In fact, to me, lateness is sufficient reason to disengage somebody. But you also should be mindful. So at the time we now decided, okay, we are not going to engage somebody who is not living within a certain radius of our company, because there are some things you cannot help, especially in some environment where the traffic is not friendly. So you have to take this into consideration. No, thank God today people are moving on to online work. You can work from home, you can work from all locations. Of course, even that has its own challenges, but we are not going to do too deep into that today. So, understand that your employees play a central role in your business success. And for them to effectively play that role, you have to take good care of them. Be concerned about their welfare. Show them respect, human dignity. Appreciate when they are doing well. Train them, teach them, reward them. Especially when you are making success. Don't eat the products or the proceeds of success, of improvement. Yes, you are concerned about the bottom line. They help you achieve a better bottom line. Thank you for listening to me again. Please share after you have watched. Inform your friends. Tell them to subscribe. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Together, we can continue to do this so that our business can thrive.